still, He loves you. It's like when the rain falls. You know how beautiful rain can be? And you know how it just washes the earth. So when the Father sets it upon us, like a beautiful rain, and it begins to wash away those things that we've held on to. He's beautiful.
Yes.
You are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. beauty. You get beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. Because you're the only one who can. You turn praise into gardens. I'm going to say that again. You turn praise into gardens. You turn bones into harmony. You're the only one who can. You turn glory into laughter. You get to the clouds. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn glory into dancing. You get beauty for ashes. I'm not real sure that y'all walk down the same road I walk down. I might not know your story. But I don't know how many of you is on the verge of suicide. Your car is turned. You're fixing to take you and your daughter out. So that you weren't a burden on anybody else. And God come into the car with me and stop me from what I was doing. I'm not sure if your story matches up with mine, but I know what God's brought you through is just as important as what He's brought me through. I don't know if you know what it's like to be high, and you're so high that you're hanging on to your daughter that shouldn't even be there with you, because if the rapture takes place, you want to know. I'm not real sure if you've ever been there where you're coming off of drugs and it's a miserable place to be. I'm not real sure if you've ever been to the place where you're so sick of being married and then your spouse comes in the room in front of you and your daughter and puts a gun to his head. And the only response you have at that moment is go outside. I'm not cleaning up after you. I don't know if you've been to that place. But just because it's my story doesn't mean your story is any less. I don't know if you've been to the place where your marriage is so messed up that you don't even love each other. And you pray and you beg God, if this is meant to be, went in. And God says, let me show you what I can do when I get in the middle. I don't know if your story is anything like that, or if it's anything like when my husband was in school and everybody thought he was a goof off and everybody thought he was a druggie and everybody thought he wouldn't amount to anything. And God rewrote that story and made him the mighty man he is today. We will see people, and when they find out he's preaching, they go, he's a preacher? Because they're that shocked. I don't know if you've ever laid in your bed and actually begged God to take you because you knew at that point suicide would not be right. But life weighed on you so heavy and you felt like that was the only out you had, and then God left you here for a reason. I don't know if you never knew where your next meal was going to come from and you walk out of church and your car is full of groceries. I don't know if maybe you just sing a praise song and this feeling comes over you and you don't know what it is, but yet you say, God, here I am. I don't know your story. But I know that we serve a God who loves me right where I was at, just like he loves you right where you are at. I know that there is nothing that is impossible for God. But, I mean, I got some stuff that's pretty impossible. Pastor Lisa, you don't even understand. You don't even understand where I'm coming from. Oh, wait, I got another one. God just brought to my mind. Have you ever had maybe your story is that you got a kid that's sick and they're in the hospital and the doctor says, we have to go do major surgery on a 6-month-old. Because if we don't do this, she's not going to live. And she's running 106 temperature. You didn't think it was possible. And you watch your baby go in and out of seizures. And you got to give her cold water baths and watch her scream. And then you pray because you're young and you don't know, but you just say, okay, God, I don't know what I'm doing. But God, I give her to you. And they go do more x-rays. And then they come back before they're going to do surgery. And they're going to do more x-rays. And you're standing there clueless. You don't know what they're doing. And then the doctor calls you in and says, I need to talk to you. And he sticks x-rays up and he says, look at this. This was her x-ray a week ago, and here's the abnormality. And this is her x-ray today, and there is no abnormality because we don't know what happened. The doctor was like, I don't understand what's going on. And we were laughing going, we do. Because I serve a good God that cared about a 6-month-old baby. Because God knew that the enemy was trying to take her out. God is good. And it doesn't matter what you're facing. It doesn't matter where you've been. I want you to think, I'm going to read this to you. It says, he turns graves into gardens. Why? He called Lazarus out of the grave. There's nothing that is impossible for God. He turns bones into armies. It's in the Bible. I got a good one for you. He turns seas into highways. And they cross on dry ground.
nothing or no thing better than God. Pastor Lisa she didn't know what I was going to speak on this morning. But I wanted to, the Lord took me back to something. Stay with me, don't leave me. Took me back to something back a long time ago that I never did ever get to really preach on or finish. I'm amazed at God. I shouldn't be, but I am. It's talking about stepping into your miracle. Somebody look at your neighbor and say, stepping into your miracle. Joshua, the 3rd chapter, verses 11 through 17. I'm not going to read it. She can throw it up on the back if she wants to. But the children of Israel are standing in a very familiar place. 40 years prior, their parents had stood in the same place. Their grandparents had stood in the same place. On the brink of a breakthrough. On the edge of breakthrough. But they had faith failure. They had breakthrough breakdown. So 40 years has gone by. And they're looking at their miracle. And they remember about their ancestors being destiny poor. One of the greatest tragedies in life is to live and never discover your destiny for life. But worse than that is to discover your destiny and forfeit it. Give it away. See, I want to talk to somebody this morning that's unlike this first generation. But I want to talk to somebody who know that they have a destiny over their lives and who know that there's a reason and a purpose for their existence. I want to talk to somebody for just a minute this morning. The ones that want everything that God has for them. Yes. I'm talking to some people this morning that understand that there are things for you to do. You may not have experienced them yet. You may not have grabbed a hold of it yet. You may be seeing it in the distance. There was a half a mile trek that they were going to have to make across a raging river. It was out of banks and flooding. Yet they had to go to it and stand at the brink of that overflow. At the brink of the overflow and step into their miracle. I don't know what happened, but when they were told to keep walking and they came up to the edge, I have a feeling there was something that was going through their minds. This happened once before, and they forfeited. This happened once before, and they didn't get what they came for. And all they had to do was step in. And I know this morning that the devil has a lot of people running, and the devil has lots of things that are going on that's keeping people sidetracked, that keeps their mind occupied, that keeps them from attaining what God has for them. that keeps them away from what their destiny should be, that keeps them away. I think that we are predestined for some things in this life that God has already said He wants us to succeed. He don't want us to fail. He don't want us to not prosper. He wants us to have some things not only in the life after, but the life now. How can we ever be a witness for Christ if we're always in the molly grubs, broke, poor, sick, and never attaining life? Hello? And I think at some point when they were carrying the ark, that they just went, well, this is it. It's do or die. It's do or die. For some of y'all, it's do or die this morning. You ever get sick and tired of being sick and tired? Being run over? Giving in? I'm tired of giving in. I want to give out. I want my blessings to be so much that it pours on me that I can't even receive it all. I believe when they stepped into the water, let me tell you, that they stepped in, and the Bible says that the water stopped. That the flood that was raging against them stopped. But they had to have faith enough, and they had to be willing enough to say, you know what, I don't care, I'm going. I'm stepping in. I'm stepping out. I'm going to do it for God. I'm going to do it for us. I'm going to do it for myself. I'm tired of being run over. I'm tired of being flooded over. And they stepped in and the water stopped. And I want you to know something. With that much amount of water that was coming, it said it just backed up and started spreading out. I tried to find how many miles it spread out and went back. Because the flood didn't stop coming. God just set His hand up there and said, hold it. They're coming across on dry ground. I'm not talking about a couple of 100,000. I'm talking about something like 3 million. People came across that half-mile trek. And I wondered to myself, I got to thinking, as long as God was holding the water back, and it was spreading up and it was backing up, and oh, help me, Lord, this morning. I don't know if it got deeper. I don't know if it went up like the Red Sea did. I don't know if it backed up into the towns, and the towns were going, what in the world's going on? All them churchy people's down there at the river doing something. Hello, you hearing me? Them crazies are down there doing something. All right. Hello?
Hello.
I'd rather be a crazy for God than a dud for the devil. I'd rather be shouting and screaming and hooping and hollering. I don't understand something. When the Cowboys were winning, everybody was doing this and painting themselves blue and everything else. But when God does something, people just go, amen.
Amen.
They don't get radical.
I'm talking to people this morning that want God to do something in their life and manifest in their life more than He ever has in the past. And you know that He's got something waiting on you this morning. If that's you, I want you to stand to your feet. Pastor, you're fixing to get crazy. Yes, I am. Because I'm tired of what the enemy throws on me. Aren't you sick of it? Aren't you sick of wading through the flood water? Don't you want God just to put His hand up and stop it? You know what it's going to mean? It means you've got to step out. You got to stretch your faith. You got to believe beyond you believe. You can't live by sight. You can't live by feeling. You gotta live by what thus saith the Word of God.
Amen.
And if God says I can, then I can.
Amen.
I liked it when the doubters were coming around going, well, they've got big fruit down there. You know when they sent the spies in?
Yeah.
They come back with clusters of grapes the size of grapefruits. Hey, you're right. They got a lot of good stuff down there. Surely it is a land flowing with milk and honey, but they got giants. Sons of Anak live down there.
Amen.
There's giants down there. And we are the size of grasshoppers in our own sight and in theirs. But I really liked it when they said, we are more than able. Because God said we could, we are more than able. We're more than able to overcome. We're more than able to take the land that God said He could give us. We're more than able to experience a depth in God that we've never experienced. How dare we put a cap on what God can do? He flung the stars into heaven. He spoke life with a word. He blew up dirt and it became life. How dare we? If you want something that God has and you know He's got it for you, and you're tired of waiting, but you came to take it. I come to get it this morning.